Facebook is hoping to make a big splash in the world of virtual reality this week. The company has begun shipping its Oculus Rift headsets, promising consumers an entirely new entertainment experience. 2 years ago, Facebook acquired the technology for $2 billion US. Now, with the help of developers, users can interact with everything from concerts to games in 3D. So who do you think in our show family had one of these to bring in? Not Shane Foxman, but Graham Williams. And so this is Oculus Rift.
This is the first generation of the Oculus Rift development kit. This is actually a primitive version of what's actually available today. The development kit was originally a Kickstarter. And so this is something that people like me saw some vision and really wanted to support, so we put some money into it. And it was obviously later acquired by Facebook. So now this is actually a massive enterprise with a finished developed product that's shipping now.
And so these are goggles?
They are.
And if you put them on, what happens?
Well, there are two screens inside, and these are high-definition screens in the finished product. And basically, they're slightly offset, so you get this 3D image of a spherical world around you. As you turn your head, it follows you. It tracks your head so you can actually move around in that 3D space. It is virtual reality as we've come to expect it from movies and TV.
And so this you called it primitive. First step here, was there programming that you could connect this to and watch? And so what do you see with this?
Well, the biggest application for this right now is entertainment. Games, movies, concerts. And so when Oculus Rift first launched, a lot of 3D games were making adaptations and modifications to work for Oculus. Now we've actually got finished products and games that are available for sale right now that are full VR worlds.
Let's talk about cost then. For somebody buying not the primitive first edition, I can't even imagine how much this one costs, but the one that's on sale now or about to be on sale, how much is it?
You're going to be looking to spend over $600 on the Oculus Rift, but you're also going to need to have a computer that will run it. It's a Windows-based PC that you're going to need, and they're going to run anywhere between $1,500 to $2,000 for that base unit.
And then once you have that unit, in order to buy a game that is compatible with this, how much does that cost?
They'll be anywhere from $29 to about $60, and that's actually on the Oculus Store, which is software that comes with the actual headset.
And movies, like are the blockbuster movies available on this now?
Well, there are some movies that are going to be available, and there is essentially a theater mode where the Oculus will put a screen, about a 50-inch screen, hanging 6 feet away from your face. But there are also some VR-style movies that are coming out that will give you a more immersive experience.
And so the big question is, how likely do you think this is going to be, especially when you consider the costs involved here? How big is it going to be?
I think it's going to be big this year, but not just because of Oculus Rift. We've actually got 2 other VR headsets coming this year. There's the HTC Vive from Valve Software and HTC, and that's a little bit more expensive, but it's actually a slightly higher-end unit that does room tracking as well. You can walk around in a room space, which is kind of cool. The big one, I think, this year is going to be PlayStation VR. It's $400 for the PlayStation 4, but it's also $400 for the VR unit. So for less than $1,000, you can actually get into a VR experience, and that's coming in October.
So just as we get used to people walking around with their little devices and headphones in, living in their own world, now we're going to have people sitting on the couch just looking around wearing those goggles, interacting with no one, but interacting with the virtual world.
That's exactly what it's going to be like. I think the scary thing here is going to be a party where you have 4 or 5 people with these things hanging around, just not talking to each other anymore.
And I guess right now there's the potential for programmers to create products that aren't an adaptation of what's already out there, but designed specifically for a virtual reality set of goggles like these.
And we've already seen that. Probably one of the most prominent examples is a game called Eve Valkyrie, and it's from a company in Iceland, I believe, and they've been making a game called Eve Online for years, and this is now an add-on to that game. It's a standalone game where you're flying a fighter jet in space, and it's built specifically for Oculus. It's exclusive to Oculus. It's a pretty cool product.
Just when I think I'm catching up in the world of tech, you kind of leave me in your dust. But anyway, this looks like it's going to be interesting. Thanks, Graham.
My pleasure.